I found this weird old bell in the Hudson Valley. It's about 11 inches high with a diameter of 8 or 9 inches at the lip. It seems to be made of brass. The bell has the initials VOC on two sides and nautical stars on the other two. Does anyone know what this bell is? The object you found is a bell from the Dutch East India Company, also known as VOC. Founded in 1602, this company was the world's first multinational corporation and played a central role in the golden age of the Netherlands. It amassed great wealth through its dominance in the spice trade, particularly in Southeast Asia. Made of bronze, this bell bears the initials of the company and was likely used aboard its ships or in one of its trading posts. Bells like this served as crucial signaling tools, marking important events such as the start of work shifts, mealtimes, or emergencies. The VOC was granted powers that extended far beyond trade, such as waging war, negotiating treaties, and establishing colonies. At its peak, the company controlled a large portion of global trade, particularly between Europe, Africa, and Asia, making it one of the most powerful corporations in history. Its influence shaped economies and politics worldwide. The legacy of the Dutch East India Company remains profound. VOC not only revolutionized trade, but also helped establish the foundations of modern corporate structures, including the invention of the stock market, which laid the groundwork for today's global financial system. A similar bell, dated 1747, was sold at auction for approximately $23,000, further emphasizing the historical and collectible value of such artifacts. I found this strange growth on a corn stalk. It was present on multiple stalks, with the larger ones about the size of my fist. The growths appeared mushroom-like and filled the space where the ear of corn should have grown. Does anyone know what this is? The object you found is corn smut, scientifically known as Ustilagomatus. It's a plant disease caused by a pathogenic fungus that forms galls on different parts of the corn plant, including the ears. These galls, while appearing strange, are actually edible and are considered a delicacy in Mexican cuisine, where they are known as huitlacoche. In Mexico, huitlacoche is highly prized and commonly used in dishes like quesadillas, tamales, and soups. The immature galls, harvested 2 to 3 weeks after infection, have a flavor that is often described as mushroom-like, sweet, savory, and earthy. It's been a part of Mexican food culture since the Aztec period. Though it has a long history in Mexican cooking, corn smut has often been seen as a blight in other parts of the world. However, there has been a growing interest in recent years, with more chefs experimenting with it in modern cuisine. Nutritionally, huitlacoche is rich in lysine, an essential amino acid, and contains levels of beta-glucans and proteins similar to other edible fungi. Though corn smut is considered a delicacy in certain cultures, it can present challenges for farmers as it affects both the yield and quality of corn. Infected crops are often destroyed, although some farmers choose to use them to make silage, a type of fermented fodder used to feed livestock, especially during the winter months. I found this while cleaning up my parents' estate and have never seen anything like it before. It's rusted and definitely antique. My great-great-grandfather was a miner in Montana, so it's most likely his. I've come across a lot of very old things that my mother kept, including a vest worn by her great-grandfather, who was a jeweler and watchmaker. Can anyone identify what this is? The object you found is a miner's candle holder, a practical tool used by miners in the 19th and early 20th centuries to light their way underground. These holders were essential for providing illumination in the dark and often dangerous conditions of the mines. The design is simple yet effective, a long metal rod with a sharpened point at one end, which allowed it to be driven into timber or rock. The other end features a loop or hook to securely hold a candle. This design enabled miners to position their light exactly where it was needed most, improving both safety and efficiency while working underground. The design of these tools varied from region to region, depending on local needs and the makers. For example, in the Bisbee mining district, miners commonly used candle holders made by local manufacturer Nathan Varney. The shape of his candle holder closely resembles the one you found. The miner's candle holder was a vital part of mining history, especially during the gold rush, when reliable lighting tools were crucial, particularly in areas like Montana. However, with the introduction of electric lighting, these tools eventually became obsolete. While going through my grandfather's old belongings, I found this small metal object. It has a lid and a rotating handle. When I turn the handle, the mechanism inside moves. Does anyone know what this item is and what it was used for? The object you've found is a twin-plex razor stropper, a device designed to extend the life of double-edged safety razor blades by realigning and polishing their edges. The twin-plex razor stropper was invented by George Floyd and patented in 1910, and it was produced by the Twin-Plex Stamping Company. The company manufactured these devices from 1905 to 1955, along with other shaving-related products such as razors, brushes, blades, and creams. To use it, you insert the razor blade into the device, ensuring it is securely held in place. By turning the rotating handle, the internal mechanism rotates the belts which press against the fixed razor blade. This motion helps to straighten the blade's edge, maintaining its sharpness and prolonging its usability. After completing one cycle, the mechanism automatically reverses the blade's position to ensure even stropping. In the early and mid-20th century, razor blades were relatively expensive, and the twin-plex stropper provided consumers with an economical solution for maintaining their blades. However, with the advent of disposable razor blades and modern shaving technologies, the use of devices like the twin-plex dwindled to almost nothing. What are these small metal charms? They were found in an old trunk that was in my family from as early as the beginning of the 20th century in Tennessee. The small metal charms you found are likely old Cracker Jack prizes. Cracker Jack, the iconic American snack, has been including small mystery novelty items known as toy surprises in its boxes since 1914. Cracker Jack prizes came in many forms, including rings, figurines, booklets, stickers, temporary tattoos, and even decoder rings. In 1914, the company introduced its first baseball card prizes, featuring players from major leagues and the short-lived Federal League. Over time, Cracker Jack became famous for its collectible prizes, and many books have been written cataloging them, contributing to a substantial collector's market. The early toy prizes were often made in Japan until 1937, when the design of the toys shifted to American designer Cary Cloud, and the production was taken over by Tootsie Toy, a company that also produced Monopoly game markers. During World War II, due to material shortages, the toys were made of paper. Have any of you ever found a Cracker Jack prize, or perhaps even collected them over the years? Share your stories with us in the comments. I found this spinning, spiky object in my grandparents' kitchen. It looks like it might be some kind of sieve or grinder. Does anyone know what this thing is and how it was used? The object you found is a moule persil, a vintage French herb chopper and mill produced by Moulin Legume Company in the 1950s. This device was designed to finely chop herbs like parsley, chives, and tarragon, making it a common tool in mid-20th century kitchens. The moule persil has a rectangular body with a funnel-shaped top. When you turn the handle, the internal blades chop the herbs as they are pushed through the device. The finely chopped herbs then fall out, typically into a plate or a pot placed below. The device can be disassembled for easy cleaning, and the handle is adjustable to accommodate both right and left-handed users. The Moulin Legume Company, established in 1932, expanded its product line to include nutcrackers, pepper grinders, and other kitchen tools, reaching production levels of 30,000 units per day by 1951. I came across this strange orb while camping. It weighs around 5 pounds and feels like solid concrete. It's roughly twice the size of an orange and has a smooth surface. Does anyone know what it is? The object you found is most likely a ball from a bocce ball set. Bocce is an ancient Italian sport that dates back to the Roman Empire, where it was known as boccia. The modern version of the game is played with 8 large balls and 1 smaller ball, called the pallino or jack. The goal is to throw your team's balls as close as possible to the jack, while also trying to knock your opponent's balls further away. Bocce balls are typically made of heavy materials like resin or polished stone, giving them weight and durability. The game is usually played on a court that's between 60 and 90 feet long, with players taking turns throwing their balls towards the jack. The game is scored based on how many of your team's balls are closer to the jack than your opponent's, with the winner being the first to reach a set number of points, typically 12, 15, or 21. Historically, bocce was a game for the wealthy in Italy, but it eventually became a popular pastime for people of all classes, especially in the 19th and 20th centuries. It's now played worldwide, often in parks, clubs, and even in competitive leagues. I thought it was a pocket watch or a locket, but there's no clock or place for a picture. I found it in a box of things from my grandma's family. They're from the United Kingdom and Canada, if that's relevant, and most of the items in the box are from the early to mid-1900s. The central circle is covering a spring so it can be pressed down. Does anyone know what it is? The item you've discovered is a coin or token holder, a practical accessory used in the 19th and early 20th centuries to carry coins or transit tokens conveniently. These holders were often worn on a belt or as a necklace, combining functionality with fashion. They were particularly popular among the working class and travelers who needed easy access to small denominations. The design typically featured a compartment to hold multiple coins or tokens, with a mechanism allowing the user to select a specific coin as needed. In the United States, during the 19th century, women often used small, compact coin holders that included a mirror, a compartment for powder, a money clip, and 1 or 2 spring-loaded coin holders. What is this object found on the side of the road? It has a handle and a ball on the end with spikes. It's very decorative, fairly lightweight, and about 15 inches long, with the spiky ball being about 6 inches. The spikes appear to be glued on, and the entire object looks like it's made of wood. The object you've found appears to be a ceremonial mace, similar to the bulava of the Ukrainian Cossacks. The bulava has been a significant symbol in Ukraine for centuries, dating back to the 13th century. Initially a weapon, it evolved into a symbol of authority and power, particularly during the 16th to 18th centuries. During this time, Cossack officers would present the bulava to the elected hetman, the military leader and head of the Cossack state. The role of the hetman was pivotal in Ukrainian history, as the hetman was both the military leader and the head of the Cossack state, leading the Cossacks, a group of warriors and free people. In modern times, the bulava continues to represent the authority of the state, now serving as the ceremonial mace of the President of Ukraine. The presidential bulava is made of gold-plated gilded silver and is fitted with a total of 64 emeralds and garnets mounted in gold. This massive object has raised questions for many years. I found it in the attic. It's a wooden item with a handle protruding from the side. The top also has something like a handle, and the bottom is surrounded by a metal ring. It looks quite old and heavy, clearly made for some specific purpose. The object you found is likely an antique oakwood battering ram, which was commonly used by firefighters and sometimes by police in the late 1800s. These iron-bound oak logs with turned handles were designed to break down doors quickly, particularly during fire rescues or police raids. In order to add extra weight and improve its fire resistance, these battering rams were often soaked in water before use. The soaking process also helped keep the iron bindings tight, which was essential for the ram's effectiveness. These tools were very efficient, as a single hit with the battering ram was enough to break down a door, much faster than attempting to kick it down, which would typically require 2 or 3 hits. The battering ram also had the advantage of being safer, as kicking a door could provoke gunfire from suspects inside who might start shooting through the door. What is this pendant with a secret compartment? It's about the size of a 50-cent coin and quite heavy. It opens like a regular pendant, but inside there's a small compartment with holes in it. This object is most likely a vinaigrette, a small container that was commonly used during the Victorian era. It was designed to hold aromatic substances such as smelling salts or perfumes. Vinaigrettes were often attached to a chatelaine, a decorative clip worn on a belt with chains. During the 18th and 19th centuries, vinaigrettes were popular due to the belief that certain scents could have medicinal benefits, particularly in crowded urban environments where unpleasant odors were common. The small compartment inside typically held a sponge soaked with vinegar or perfume, and the user could open it to inhale the scent, which helped temporarily get rid of bad smells or alleviate symptoms like dizziness and nausea. The use of vinaigrettes declined by the early 20th century as perfumes became more accessible and urban sanitation improved, reducing the need for personal air fresheners. What is this instrument in a wooden box? I found it in my garage. The box is about 5 inches tall, 3 inches wide, and feels very dense. There's a latch on the side to hold the wooden lid down. The lid is about 1 inch deep to accommodate the buttons and gauge inside. The object you found is most likely a motorized timer, which might look similar to a typical clock but works quite differently. This timer was probably used in older electromechanical systems. Before transistors became widespread, electromechanical machines performed many of the tasks that computers now perform. These systems relied on a combination of switches, motors, and relays instead of transistors. By connecting the timer to one of these switches or relays, it would measure how long a particular switch remained on, or how much time passed between two switch activations. This particular timer likely measured short time intervals, such as those used for engine ignition timing or in electromechanical devices like alternators. In the last video, I asked you to guess what this cast iron pot with a gray lid might have been used for. Many of you shared some great guesses, and a few of you were right. This item is actually a milk cooker. The gray lid helps prevent the milk from spilling over when it boils. As the milk begins to rise, it comes through the large hole and falls back down through the smaller ones. Thank you to everyone who participated and shared your guesses. A special shout out to Freeze-Dried Ice Cream Prepper for being the first to correctly identify it. All right, it's time for another mystery item. Take a look at this tool with a wooden handle and a metal hook. It has a unique shape, but what do you think it is used for? Leave your guesses in the comments, and I'll reveal the answer in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Your support motivates me to create more videos. See you next time.